everybody. It's Angie Rupert, founder of Rupert Law. We handle exclusively E-2 and E-1 visas, so no matter what treaty country you're from or where you want to be, we can help. So today I want to address, some political news. As you probably know, Donald Trump's going to be the president yet again. And we are getting a lot of questions regarding what does that mean for the E-2 or the E-1? How might that affect me? Those types of things. So just a quick address for those types of things, right? So first of all, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Some of these treaties regarding the specific treaty of the E-1 or the E-2 visa, right? So some of these treaties have been in place since the 19th century, and I don't really see any of them ending, certainly not abruptly. Typically what happens if a treaty does end, and again, I'm not anticipating that, but if a treaty does end, they usually have about a 10-year wrap-up. So you would know, hey, in 10 years, we're not going to be able to renew this anymore. That's typically how those work. However, keep in mind, we could actually get some new treaties. It happens, okay? So that is possible. And in fact, I think the last time that Donald Trump was president, we added Israel and New Zealand as new treaty countries. He signed those in. So keep that in mind, okay? I don't believe any of the current treaties are going to go away. And in fact, last time we had a couple of new treaties. So that's really exciting. One thing that we did see change last time, or two things rather. The first one is the visa reciprocity, as we call it, right? So the length of time and the amount of money you pay at your visa interview, that's the visa reciprocity fee, and the visa reciprocity time is how long the visa is good for. We did see some changes there in the last time that Donald Trump was president. So keep your eye on that. It could be that you have more time or less time on your visa. Now, I want to take a moment to say not your existing visa, okay? But for those of you who apply after, there could be some changes. So just keep your eye on that. If you already have a visa, they're not going to change the time limit that you have for your visa. You'll continue to get that. But when you renew, the time limit may be different. Also, when you renew, some people have visa reciprocity fees, additional fees that they have to pay at the consulate on the day of their interview if they're approved. Some countries don't have that. But those fees sometimes change. And in fact, we saw that last time that Donald Trump was president. So just keep your eyes open for that. But those fees are payable at your visa interview only if you're approved. So not something you really need to worry about beforehand, but just something to keep your eye on, okay? So the visa reciprocity could change. We also saw, now a lot of this has to do with COVID, but we also saw some additional potentially, particularly with USCIS, less with the consulates, but with USCIS, sometimes things slow down. Sometimes the review of documentation gets a lot heavier handed. Okay, they really are particular. So it's possible that if you're changing status, that it could get like that again. Right? That they're really, really picky about the documentation, really, really picky about the forms. So keep that in mind. However, USCIS, as it pertains to E-2 and E-1 status, really got a lot more, let's say, picky on April 1 of this year. Okay, so it's possible maybe they won't make those changes, but that could be something else that we see is maybe a little bit stricter interpretation of documentation and evidence. All right, so that's what I'm predicting. Of course, nobody can read the future, but those are the changes I'm predicting, minor changes, but potentially some. Obviously, we'll keep our eyes and ears open for anything that we hear. And of course, if you have any information that you'd like to ask about or anything you're concerned about, please reach out anytime. We'd love to help you with your E-2 visa.